Okay, so President Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, and Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, visiting aid operations in Gaza for hours yesterday.
Madeline Rivera is in Washington with the details. Madeline.
Hi, good morning. The White House says the point of this visit is to help come up with a plan to deliver food and medicine in Gaza. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff posted photos of his visit on X, saying he spent over 5 hours inside Gaza, level setting the facts on the ground, assessing conditions, and meeting with the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation and other agencies. U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee joined Witkoff and posted a similar update on his X account. Witkoff and Huckabee were also in Israel on Thursday, speaking with officials there about the crisis in the Strip. President Trump says he's spoken to Witkoff about his trip. In a notable break with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the president acknowledged this week that there is starvation in Gaza, but he's also blaming Hamas for stealing aid. Here's what one person from Gaza had to say.
Hamas wanted to see the deterioration of the humanitarian conditions in Gaza, knowing full well that this may be the only hope for drawing in the international community, for producing horrendous imagery that showcase the war as being a humanitarian catastrophe, and therefore hoping to bring about a rapid end to the war that it started.
The president has said the U.S. is going to set up food centers with help from other nations and supply more funds. Charlie, Katie, and Griff.
Thank you, Maddie.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It's important to point out that the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is what Witkoff and Huckabee visited, have distributed 100 million meals since May. And Hamas has been trying to get them out of the Gaza Strip. They've said that's part of ceasefire negotiations, which they never accept, because they make it so that Hamas can't steal aid and then resell it to Palestinians to fund their war against the Israelis. So the GHF has been able to work around that, and Palestinians getting aid from the GHF had said, this is the first time I've ever gotten humanitarian aid that wasn't something I had to pay for because it's been stolen over and over and over again. So it's a good thing that they're there and they're doing great work.
And, you know, the saying usually is, you know, you don't negotiate with terrorists, but you find yourself in a situation where you have no choice but to deal with terrorists. And Hamas is a terrorist organization. And, you know, it makes things a whole lot more difficult, not only for Israel and people who want peace in the Middle East, but also for the people living in Gaza.
Mm-hmm. Well, and, you know, look, credit to President Trump here for taking notice of the humanitarian crisis.
Absolutely.
And sending, this was the highest level American delegation to go into Gaza since all of this began. And so he said, I want my crew in there to get eyes on it, tell me firsthand what's going on. And it does send a message to Hamas that if you're using this to your benefit, we now have eyes on the inside. We're not going to put up with that.
And it's still very dangerous. Hamas killed a number of the aid workers at the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation earlier this summer. So it's still a very volatile, dangerous situation. And the fact that you had top administration officials there to see what was going on firsthand was a good eye-opening for the rest of the world as well to see what was going on.